All right, y'all, here we are back in the Starship. This is the part of the video that I cut out from the first long form video when I was flying with Nick. This is the full run-up procedure for the Starship. Now, 2 proficient crew members would probably be able to knock this out in 2 or 3 minutes. I was not proficient in the aircraft at the time. I'm getting better. Since the time of recording, though, I think if Nick and I were to fly this and do this again, we could probably breeze through it in about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, just depending on a couple tests. But not only is this run-up cool to do, what I really like about it and why I really want to show this in a separate video here is you can see that when you get into your Starship and you turn that battery switch on, you start powering up avionics and systems, you're not just powering up a face value airplane. There is a lot of stuff happening behind the panel. There is true simulation going in many more ways than one, and this really highlights that, and I can't wait to show you. So without further ado, here is the Starship run-up.
I love watching that shadow come across the ramp too with those wings out in front. It's so cool.
All right, so holding short here. What's next here?
All right, so fair warning, this is a long checklist.
All right.
But, you know, so first of all, there is an abbreviated one. If you're the kind of person who says, I'm just receiving this aircraft from another pilot and I just want to get up and go, there's one that's got like 10 checklist items.
Yeah, whatever you want to run through.
I'm hoping, since we're both real pilots, that we can go through this pretty quick.
All right, let's give it a shot.
We can do it? All right.
I hope so.
Have you used like the test push buttons on the bottom left yet?
No, I have. I know what you're talking about down here. Yeah. I haven't messed with them yet.
All right. So zoom out so we can kind of see the whole panel. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through those push buttons. So the top left, we'll start.
Yep.
Push that, and we should see the fire warnings light up. Good. Next one, they should light up on the right.
Oh, I guess. Yep. There
Good.
we go. Yep.
Now the fire detectors, we should get that. Master caution. Good. Right. Master caution. Okay. The next one, flap and forward wing test, we'll get on the ICAS. Yep.
And down here.
Aux battery test. We push that, and then we're going to move on because that one takes a minute to do.
Okay.
So see, it says standby battery test. It'll come back eventually and say standby battery okay.
Okay.
Next one, battery charge rate, should just light up the annunciator.
There it
Good.
is. Check.
And then we skip the pressurization one because we don't have the engines, run up yet. Fuel warning, that's ICAS. Go.
Check.
Good. Standby battery test, okay, it says. We're good on that. The VMO, we heard the sound.
Yep.
Now the stall warning, if you can unhide the yoke and then push the stall warning, what we'll see is it goes through a sequence. Watch the angle of attack indicator. You can let go of it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just push it to start.
Here.
And it'll run up, and then when it hits 0.6, the column pusher activates. And it didn't push in because I assume that you're holding on to your yoke
and
there,
I'm also running a force feedback yoke too, so that may
that's probably it.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, which you can do in the real airplane, by the way. You can hold on to it and fight it.
Right. I remember doing that in a couple corporate jets. We had that. It was the pusher test, right? So
Exactly.
So essentially what it says happened, like the stall warning horn will go off, and then you'll see the yoke get pushed in, and then you can fight it back. Yep.
Absolutely. So that's exactly
that's
what
really cool.
So now you can hide the yoke. Landing gear test, is the light and the horn. Annunciator test is everything on all of the instruments lights up, which is really neat.
Christmas tree. All right.
Then the bleed air is the 3 annunciators and the glare shield.
Got 3.
Good. Now we have to, I'm going back to the checklist. So now go power as required for 23 PSI.
All right.
So let's just advance them just a little bit. And we should, up to 23. So now go to the bleed air valves, go to off. We should see those go to 0. And the lights come on the ICAS, good. Pneumatic pressure low is illuminated. Pneumatic pressure is 0 for the off position. Vacuum, so now go back to the test panel, push the vacuum button. And we should see the boot fail messages on the ICAS, good.
Yep.
Let go, good. Bleed air valves left and then right, so just make sure they're both working. Go left, we get 23 PSI. Go to the right.
Check.
23, good. Now back to both. And then, okay, high pressure 23. Okay, so now press the cabin pressurization test on the top row.
Top row, cabin pressurization.
And we should see that needle just come down just a little bit, which it did.
Yeah.
And that just tells us everything is, pressurized and working. Hopefully we remember to close the door, right?
Yeah. This would be the time where it would fail.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's open, you'll see it won't pressurize.
Yep.
Okay, so now we got the pressure run up. So now we do the boot tests. So there's 2 switches there underneath the PSI indicators, and there's 4 positions there, and 3 of them are manual and 1 is the auto sequence. So hold the manual one up on the left. So that's the 2 switches underneath the PSI.
You're talking about for over here?
So where it says 23.2, 23.0 PSI on the pilot's right sub panel.
Yeah. Oh, right here. Yeah. Yep.
So now, if you want to, you can test them all at once, and yeah, flick that switch down to sequence. We should see. Yep. So now, if you look out, you should see it inflate on the forward wing. On the forward.
Oh, the forward wing. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at my camera.
Well, you can see it from the cockpit.
Oh,
pretty well.
That's right. Yeah.
And then now you can see the inboard of the wing is going, and then next it'll be the outboard.
Yep. You can see the ribs out there.
So then we have all 3 zones. Yep, there you go. And
awesome.
The vacuum has pulled them back in now. So all 3 zones are working, and we have no boot failure messages on the ICAS.
Oh, clear.
So now we do the icing tests, which are back on that test panel. Yep, standby ice. Hold that one down.
Hold it down. Icing fail. Oh, yep, there they go.
Boots fail. Yep, let go. Those should go away. And then on the right-hand side with the main, we should get the white icing message, the boot fail messages. And what's happening is that the boot fail messages are going away as the vacuum is sucking them back onto the wing surface.
Gotcha.
We should get the white. Yeah, I may have fixed that after the version I sent you.
No worries. No worries.
But those failure messages should go away. Wing boot, left, right. There they go. Okay. Yep. And the other one should go away in a minute now. That's done. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a 6-second delay on all the ICAS messages, so they don't just flicker.
Right. So you can actually read what's going on.
And that's straight from that's the real aircraft.
Wow.
So, okay, so now we do the inertial separators. So flip the actuators to standby. So we're going to test both the standby. It's only 1 actuator, but it's 2 power supplies. So that's the locking toggles there. Yep.
The lock toggles, you want them to go standby?
Flip them to standby, and then both of the inertial separators on. And then that'll take like 20 seconds. So we'll flip those on, and we do something else. The checklist is laid out really well, so it doesn't waste your time.
I like it.
So now we go through all of the heated surfaces, and as a pilot, all you have to do is just flick them to see that.
Just to see it move.
Yep.
All right.
And it can actually be a little tough with the digital readouts compared to an analog one.
Yeah, they're still moving.
But they're there. Yep.
They're there.
And same thing with the heats. You can just flick them on.
Oh yeah.
And then the vent heats all the way at the bottom. Those 2 right there. Yep. Working and working. Excellent. So now the inertial separators should both be on. So if we look at the ICAS, it says left and right are both on. So now flip the actuator switches back to main. So now we test the main power supply and then flick them off. Yep. And then hopefully it's all working. Ground ice detector switch, which is next to the PSI indicators again. That was an option.
Right here.
Yeah. Hold that up real quick. We'll get the indication on the ICAS.
Ice.
Yep. Yeah, so this is where I'm going to do a little sidebar. Starship has an automatic de-icing system.
Oh wow!
You don't have to do anything in flight. If you go actually look at the nose on the outside real quick. So do you see that there's kind of the unicorn horn
right here? Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
And then there's the 2 on the sides, which are the same.
Are those little vibrators? Or harmonic ice detection?
Yes, that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Yep. And the top one there was optional, but that could be added later. That's the ground ice detector. So that'll light up when you're sitting on the ground, even if there's like the smallest tracing of ice. It lights up the message on the ICAS just to tell you you're in icing conditions, you know.
Yeah.
Just be forewarned. But then
Wow.
once you're in flight, the moment that there's enough ice accumulated, and it's done, you know, because you know how boots can be kind of a dangerous proposition.
Yes.
Because if you do it too much, you know, you
Yes.
can still have that ice build up.
Absolutely.
So the engineers said, we don't even want the pilots to worry about that. So they calculate with the ice detector the optimal timing to inflate the boots.
Wow.
So you don't have to do anything. You're just going to be flying along. You're going to see that icing message. It's going to come on, and then eventually it's going to decide the time is right, and you'll watch the pressures drop as it inflates
And
the
it'll
boots.
start doing it.
Yep, and you don't have to do part
Jeez. And this is 1980s tech, guys. That's crazy. So yeah, we had those. We call it, they were part of the Air Data Smart Probe for the Embraers, and that's what it was like, harmonic ice detection. So to see that on this is that's crazy.
Okay, we did the inflate in sequence. Power levers back to idle.
Go back down.
And the inertial separators went off. Good, so both power supplies are working. Okay, we would set the pressurization for our flight. So that would be 1,000 feet above cruise, rate at the 10 o'clock position.
So we're going to 24, so we'll set 25, rate set 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. And the dump is all the way in the counterclockwise position.
Now this is something kind of cool. I haven't even played through this yet. The sun is actually getting a little bit low, and I haven't messed with any internal lighting yet. So I'm actually
one of my favorite
surprised. So I'm assuming we come up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need the lights master switch on, or is
Yes.
that for? Okay, so
And what I like to do is around sunset, I turn the electroluminescent panels, the blue, I turn those all the way up.
so
That's the upper left.
Upper left one.
Yeah, I just turn that all the way up for sunset.
All right.
And you're not going to see it now because they're really
Right.
dim.
Okay.
But when the sun starts to set, you'll kind of get that glow underneath the panel, and then
Yes.
as it gets to nighttime, we just back off on that, so you get your eyes, you know, to adjust.
All right. I'm excited.
Lighting is really important to me. I love flying at night in the real world.
Yeah.
So in all of my aircraft, I pay a lot of attention to the night lighting.
I love it because on the Dukes too. I mean, we've been flying the little Duke tour, and I love getting in when it's dawn or like just the sun hasn't come up yet, and you get that glow going on. So I can't wait to see what lighting looks like in this thing because I haven't experienced it yet. So.
All right, we got the pressurization set, avionics set and check. So that would be, you know, for runway heading and get our altitudes in there. We got 24,000 feet.
Yep, got 24,000 feet. I'll swing this around. We'll probably just go. I'll have that once we get on the runway. I'll sync it up.
Yeah. The radar altimeter test. That's that little white button above the altimeter.
All right.
Just hold that down.
50.
Get the tone.
Excellent.
Now this one is one you're probably going to be familiar with, which is the autopilot test. This is one I see people don't like understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got the yoke.
Yep.
So now use my click spot there in between the two.
In between autopilot click spot right here.
So now we see the modes come up. We get roll and pitch as the default.
Yep.
Flight director is right down the center. Perfect. So now take the heading bug, right, and move that just like 10 degrees off of our heading to the right. So you can sync it up. Turn it to the right a couple degrees. Push the heading mode on the mode control panel. And we see the yoke turn to the right. Now go like 10 degrees to the left.
Bring it back.
So we know that the servos are working. Now push the disconnect button. Perfect. And we get the tone. Absolutely perfect. That's an autopilot test. That's all there is to it.
Yep. And it's really cool on force feedback. You can actually, the physical yoke does the same thing.
Cool. You're very lucky to have that.
Yeah. You got to get one. You need to get one. I'm saying it now. You need one.
So I am going to save us some time here and skip through some of all the trim tests.
Okay, yeah.
But, you know, if you want to just look at it really quickly, that's below the throttle quadrant down there. Yeah, so that's all that row of switches there. You know, nice. So like, you know, and the only one I'll mention just because it's kind of neat, right, is those two, it's called a dual element switch, right? Those two like paddle switches. You have to move both of them at the same time in order for it to do anything, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, one won't do anything.
Exactly.
But you got to use both and click in the middle to move them.
Yeah, I think at least in smaller aircraft, the way that works is that one is the power supply and one is the direction.
Okay.
I think that's mechanically how that works, or electrically how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to get we're going to do the feathering tests and everything now.
All right.
That's something I'm really proud of too in all of my aircraft, how that's simulated, because you know, almost everything you're seeing here, you know, the flight sim can't do any of this natively.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, this is all stuff I've programmed over years now.
Yeah.
So let's see, we got Okay, so now we're at idle power lever. So now if you go to the propeller governor test switch on the electrical panel, you know where that is?
Let's see. Propeller
The one
governor,
by itself,
all by
above the
itself.
start switches.
Right here. Yep, right here.
Yeah. So now if you move that to low pitch, we'll see the RPMs drop.
Yep.
So that means it's fallen off the low pitch governor. So now this is good that you have hardware to do this, because it's really, this is important. So if you hold that to overspeed and advance your power levers up, we'll see it come up to, I think, 1500 RPM, and that's where it's going to stay.
Yep.
So now or 1600. Now let go of the switch, and we go up to the full speed. Yep. So now, okay, bring the power levers back to idle. Auto ignition switches on. And they should actually turn on. Yeah, it says auto ignition on. So now just advance the power levers a little bit. It's 17% torque. Yeah. See, this is what I meant. You know exactly what we're doing here.
There they go.
Perfect. So now you can turn the auto ignitions off. Okay, so now I don't know why on this one actually, but Starship wants you to do the feather test with the propellers in the low RPM position.
Really?
So yeah, bring them all the way back to low, and then we're going to do the auto feather test, which again is going to be great because you have hardware.
Okay.
So go put the auto feather switch in the test position, and then bring the power levers up to 17% torque, or thereabouts. Now we see the two green AFX lights come on the ICAS.
Yep.
So now, as you take one power lever and slowly move it back, we're going to see the cross-side AFX light go out, which means the system is armed. Yep. And then when you keep pulling it back, it goes to feather.
Yep. Bring it out. Yep.
And it won't go all the way down because there's still enough torque that it's not going to go to zero.
Right.
Right. But if the engine actually shut down, it will go all the way to zero.
Right.
So then do that on the other side. Light goes out.
Extinguished. Keep going. And the feather.
Perfect.
Bring it out.
And then what I like to do is I end by pulling them back both to idle, so that way you know that they disarm both by an increase in torque and a decrease. That's just a personal technique thing.
That's a good one.
And then manual feather check. So just move the prop levers back into feather and make sure they both dip down. Yep. Great. Okay. Propeller levers back to full forward. Standby altimeter set, and we're good to go.
All right, 2909er 4 is set all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
I'm ready to go.
All right. You didn't know what you were getting into, did you?
No, I warned you, actually.
All right.
All right, so before takeoff checklist?
Let's run it.